Hey folks, welcome to Field of Glory Kingdoms. Now, this is the second game in a series. The original game was called Field of Glory Empires. That one was set in the ancient era. This one's set in the medieval times. And just like Empires before it, this links up with Field of Glory 2 Medieval. Now, I need to state this. You don't need Field of Glory 2 Medieval to play this game, okay? You don't need it. One of the biggest comments that I had, most common comments that I had when I was doing series on Empires was, oh, I passed on this game because I thought that you needed both games in order to play it. And it's like, no. Slytherin marketing, drastic fail there. Honestly, it wasn't just 2 comments either. It was like 10 or so, like at least 10 people. And I had people saying it on live streams as well. So I hope that Slytherin have really hammered that to people and said, look, you do not need Field of Glory 2 Medieval to play this game. The combat system in Field of Glory Empires and Kingdoms is excellent. You don't need Field of Glory 2, okay? It is a really good game to play like that, but it just makes the game much longer. You won't see me doing it. I do like Field of Glory, by the way. Field of Glory 2. I think it's an amazing game. It's one of my favorite, tactical war games. I think it's excellent, but I just don't have the time to play every battle out in that as well. It turns what is already a 20-30 hour campaign into a 400 hours. It's just not worth it. I think even veterans of the game who really love it tend to play just key battles, to export out. You won't see me exporting battles out. I'm not going to bother. The other thing is that I'm trying to sort of move my channel over to doing more creative stuff with kind of scripted content and me doing some filmed stuff as well. So this is not going to be a Let's Play series. This is going to be me this is a first look, okay? Because I've not played this yet. I literally bought it yesterday. I used a voucher that I had for Matrix for the Steam store that the Slytherin send out every year, which is very kind of them to do that. So I got a nice discount on it. Okay, let's have a look at this game. So I know Empires quite well, and this has changed. It's not the same game, okay? It'll be familiar, but it's not the same. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to just have a look at the grand campaign to start off with, and we're just going to have a quick look at it, and then I'll probably end the video there because it's not going to be this is not going to be a Let's Play. I don't have time to do it right now, I'm afraid. I would like to though. Once I finish one of the many other series that I've got on the go, then I'd like to return to this and actually play maybe one of the shorter scenarios, because every time I try to play Field of Glory Empires, I get about halfway through and then I just have to finish because it's either going on too long or something happens that means I have to stop playing for whatever reason. Okay, I love this artwork, by the way. It looks really, really good. It's really, really nice. The music's really good as well in this game. So just while the game's loading, I just want to make a couple of comments. Field of Glory Empires, the game that came before this, I rated as one of the best grand strategy games I'd ever played, and I still believe that. Gosh, this is taking a while to load. I still believe that. I think it's one of the best designed games I've played in terms of complexity of mechanics, but also the fact that the AI can use it all. It's just really, really, really good. Okay, so here we go. So bear in mind, this is my first look. This is the first time I've actually jumped into this screen. And I thought to myself, right, what is the point? How useful is this video going to be? And I thought, actually, this might be quite useful. This might be useful for both developers and, new players. Because if you can see a new, someone who is familiar with the previous game but hasn't played this one, and you might see me fumbling around trying to figure it out, might give you an idea of whether this is going to be for you or not. Okay, so here's our medieval map. Lovingly created. I really, really like this map. There we go, look. So we've got all of Europe, and we've got it's models all up into like Northern Europe and Scandinavia, right out across into kind of getting out towards sort of modern day Russia, and then down through the Mediterranean. We've got modern day Turkey here, and then I guess this must be India, I guess. This is going to be kind of like Saudi Arabia, and then you've got North Africa here as well. So it's a big map, and there's a lot of look at how many factions there are in this game to play. They're all playable as well. And there's lots of them. Some of them are really, really small. You got major nations. These are the ones that the game kind of thinks are going to be interesting nations for you to focus on, whether it was because they were a big power in the game at that point, or just because they had points of interest. So you've got England here, you've got the Byzantine Empire, we've got the Holy Roman Empire, France, Scotland, Seljuks. I'm sorry, I don't know. Would that be Seleuks? Yeah, I think so. So that would be from the old Seleucid Empire, I guess. We've got Rus. We've got Cordoba, Fatimids, Castilla, and Venice. Okay, so these are the major nations. Then you've got some what it calls the remarkable factions, and I guess these are the sort of like, you know, in terms of interest, going to be like the level 2. Now, the game does actually rank each nation out of interest and difficulty. So you can kind of like click through these, like Novgorod, difficulty 3, interest 5. There's so many factions, by the way. You might find these don't change a whole lot. Some are more or less difficult. Poland's down here, and they're ranked as difficulty 2 because they're quite a big nation. Anyway, what should we do? Should we jump into one of the major nations? I reckon so. So you'll get some context here. The context is going to be basically all there. Okay, so we've got vassals and royal marriage. So yeah, I skim read the manual before I started this, and basically the decadence system from Field of Glory Empires has been replaced with a different system. Okay, and I forget what it's called now, but I think you've got. I think it's authority. That's it. So you have an authority over your domain, and if your domain grows bigger, and I mean domain in, you know, spelt in a funny way, demesne or whatever it is, but it's pronounced domain. And confusingly, the game uses domain also to refer to regions for some reason. So yeah, but I'm just going to call them regions. So you have provinces. Provinces are made up of multiple regions. When you capture enough regions, you gain the whole province and you get a bonus. But your domain is your controllable area that you have yourself under control, that is not controlled by a vassal. And you'll see here, like I say, that the England here, 1 minute, click on the major nation, seems to give me a different, there we are. So yeah, you got different vassals as well. So we've got Wessex, East Anglia, Mercia, and Northumbria. So these are the traditional I can't remember, would they be baronies or earldoms? No, I guess dukedoms. I guess I forget what's the exact order of operations when it comes to the British kind of feudal system. But anyway, as our vassals, we've got royal marriages, which tie us to Normandy, Norway, and Wessex. It gives you like a gameplay overview. Just tells you basically how to play. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this. To begin with, it's crucial to ensure that your treasury is not losing an excessive amount of money, as this can severely limit your options. Take stock of your regions and assess whether any buildings are worth the cost. Okay, so yeah, it gives you basically a bit of an indicator on how to play it. Here's modifiers. These are like bonuses that you get. Let's just jump into this game anyway. So we're going to play as England. Apparently the difficulties are 2, so it's probably not that difficult to play as these guys. So we're under control of the Anglo-Saxon House of Wessex, a dynasty which has risen to power and united most of England during the struggle against the Viking invasions over the previous century. However, the king at the time, Edward the Confessor, would die childless in 1066, creating a succession crisis. Okay, so this is talking about the Norman invasion of England and the ascension of William the Conqueror. Okay, so we're actually starting in 1054. Oh, right, okay. Oh, this is interesting. So this is actually before 1066. Well, that's pretty cool. So it probably means we're going to get invaded. A last note of importance before you play. Many windows will have the help button located in the upper right corner. Yeah, you can use this. There's also a very complete game manual. Yeah, the game manual is like 300 pages long, and it's really well organized as well. So don't be intimidated by that. A lot of it's going to be kind of, you know, fine detail that you don't always need on a first play. The British Isles start in turmoil and will remain so for a long time. You'll need patience, expertise, and even luck to succeed. England begins with several vassals, including the powerful Wessex, with whom relationships are quite low, leading to many chances of events turning sour. No less than 3 royal marriages will provide opportunities, but there is also a weakness in case your heir is not strong. The Normans, unless the event is deactivated in the options, will invade England forcefully, although this can be prevented if you're at war with France, or if relations with them are very good, although the odds of that are low. Then we've got, we've got Scotland as a problem as well. So yes, England and Scotland traditionally fought for centuries. And I know, being as an Englishman who lives in Scotland, I can tell you. The Scottish are very nice, really. But here we go. So So yeah, they can gain bonus authority from raiding Anglo-Saxon regions and might have superb relationships with France through the Old Alliance. Okay. So yeah, we're in a real big problem. We got a real big problem here in England. It says it's going to be like not a relatively easy playthrough. By the way, one thing I would say about Field of Glory, I don't know about this one because I haven't played it yet, but Field of Glory Empires was, once you'd learned the mechanics and you understood what was going on, it was quite easy on the basic level. But if you put the difficulty level setting up a couple of notches, it was pretty good. It was pretty good fun. Like I didn't play on normal because normal was, or balanced or whatever it's called, it was too easy for me. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got here. Okay, so this user interface is familiar to me. So we've got the different workers that you can assign to either your farming, your production, or to culture production. I guess it's going to be. Yeah, so it looks like it's the same here. Let's just have a look at what we've got. I'm just going to go through the UI and just check this out. So let's have a look at the this is the main panel and the dynasty panel. So here, this is where we had the decadence, the CDR table in the last one. It's going to be authority and disorder. We've got legacy as well. Legacy is really important. This is basically your score. It doesn't just work as a score though to see who's winning the game. It gives you bonuses as well. So if you are in the top of the legacy table, you're going to get. It's easier to declare war on people, and it makes it you get less penalties basically for things like declaring war. You're less likely to slip into disorder as well. Authority and disorder seems to be the decadence mechanic thing that was in the previous game. Okay, so here we got our domain size. So we've got 8 out of 16. Our authority gain is up to 14. Okay, so once you've got over 14 regions in your domain, then you're going to end up not being able to gain any more authority. The aim of the game in this, at least one of your first tasks in any campaign, I understand, is for you to gain authority. Your authority needs to be high. This represents your ability to rule and how people see you. And so what's really, really nice about the AGR games, they're not they are not always map painting games. You can map paint with them if you get very good, but they've always got mechanics built into them that make it so that it's not like Total War where you can just without problem, you can just kind of like take massive amounts of territory. In these games, when you start getting a lot of territory, or when your territory starts getting bigger than you would be able to manage as a ruler, you start getting problems, and that's modeled in various ways in the two different games. In this one, it's going to be the authority and disorder. And so every time you take somewhere, you really need to be very careful about why you're taking it, because not only are other kingdoms going to have claims on these places, which is going to open you up to being able to be to be invaded potentially, or to have people ally against you. There's other stuff at work as well, like you've got the whole issue with the church, and there's also the concept of who has the rightful claim to the lands, right? So you want to be it's kind of like Crusader Kings, I think. You want to be taking places so that you kind of get yourself the rightful claims eventually to these places, and other places will have claims to them. So it's really quite complex. It's going to be a much more complex because the feudal system was very complex. It's going to be a much more complex system than in Empires, where they didn't have that, the divine right of kings, which was like handing down power, or the feudal system, which was handing down power. All right, this is cool though. Like I say, guys, I ain't going to play this a lot because I just don't have time, I'm afraid. But I am going to come back to this. Okay, so these are your victory conditions, I think. Yeah, so it's saying that we've got London here. Yeah, these used to be this marker here used to be your objectives. Let's have a look what we've got here. Got the regional decisions again. That's kind of like a bunch of cool little things that you can play to give yourself certain abilities or bonuses, and you gain these every turn. They often cost stuff, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're free. Let's have a look. Oh, Christian Catholic, the Ecumenical Council. Okay, so we've got Rome, Constantinople, and on there we've got the Islamic countries down here too. We've got Jerusalem and Medina and Mecca. Okay, so these would be the two different denominations of Islam, I suspect. Is that right, or am I making that up? Let's just have a look at this. So I don't remember. No, I don't think they'd had that split yet. I'm sorry, I'm really, really ignorant of of Islamic history, I'm afraid. So I'm not really quite sure about the whole thing with the Sunni and Shiite stuff. As Muslims with preeminence, they can easily call a jihad. A sufficiently pious Muslim nation can ask to become mujahideen, sorry, via the diplomatic interface. Okay, yeah, I think Islam's at this point is more united, I suspect. But there must be the split here between between the two different denominations of Catholicism. Unless I'm forgetting my history completely. Definitely need to read the manual. Anyway, yeah, so we've got most pious Christians, Papal States Authority, and the Fatimids. Okay, so yeah, it looks like there is just Christianity and Islam in this one. It's just two states. Oh, Muslims, Sunni and Shia. Okay, so they are. It looks like they've actually put those together. Okay, that's cool. So we've got Crusaders and their targets, Mujahideens and their targets. Right, wow, that's really, really cool. So you get Crusades and Jihads in this game as well. Kingdom of Hungary. So let's have a look at the armies. Housecarls. All right, okay, so these are going to be, yeah, this will be, is it King Harold that we're playing as? Let's have a look. Let's just check. No claims. These are realm traits. Oh, there we go. Edward. We're Edward the Confessor. Okay. Married to Dame Dorothy Radcliffe. Oh, this is nice. Look at this. So you've got like a sort of Crusader King style game going off here as well. Sons and daughters. Oh, they've all got abilities as well. How fantastic. Okay, character loyalty, health. You got a charge and then a treasure. Oh, this is fantastic. Okay, so yeah, it's got an extra dimension to it that wasn't in Empires. I'll tell you what, right? AGOD are such great game developers. Seriously, no, I can't really judge it too much until I've actually played it a bit, but I can tell that this is going to be a good game. But I can't remember. Is it Pocus that's from AGOD? Anyway. Yeah, they've got some really, really, really good game designers, man. There's like a really, really solid team. Like I've gushed about this a lot already. So, but Field of Glory Empires really is one of my favorite games. It's one of the best grand strategy games that's ever been made, in my opinion. I personally prefer it to any of the Paradox stuff. Although I do appreciate that the Paradox games are really cool. So Housecarls, mounted Housecarls, and raw spearmen. So what would you do at the start of this game, right? We've got England kind of under our control. We've got Wales here. Now, so in a more sort of map painty game like Total War, you might go, all right, there's some territory here. Why don't we just go and take that? It causes problems to take territory in these games, right? Unless you really build for it. You've got to kind of figure out whether it's going to be worth you taking this. So it's like, do we really need Wales? Please don't take that comment out of context, by the way. I love all my Welsh viewers. I went to Cardiff recently. It's amazing, by the way. For those of you who are anywhere near the British Isles, man, you've got to go to Cardiff Castle. It's really, really cool. Okay, so... but yeah, do we really need Wales in this game? I don't know, maybe. Again, with Scotland, this is going to be a real thorn in your side. What have they got? We've got Strathclyde, Lothian, Edinburgh, a place I'm familiar with, Galloway, and Angus, Moray, and Inverness. Okay, these are currently held by... Who is it going to be here? I wonder if there's a way of checking their leader. Diplomacy. Okay, well, that'll probably be it. They're a vassal of Scotland. Okay, so we're talking to those guys directly. There we go. There's Scotland. So we go to Edinburgh. The Petty Kingdom, Christian Catholic Scottish, and it's Macbeth, the Red King. Okay. Married to Dame Swannock Keith. Ruling since 34 turns, which is 17 years. So these are 6 month turns, by the way, which is quite a long period of time to have in a single turn in a game. But things moved slowly in the medieval times. I mean, you raise troops, right? It's going to take a long, long time. Okay. By the way, that means that what year are we on? We're on 1054. So we've got 12 years. So what's that? 24 turns. 20, assuming that the Normans will invade in 1066 as they would historically. So yeah, you've got like 24 turns basically. That's not a long time to get your kingdom in a position where it can actually fend off the Norman invasion. All right. How long is this video? 20 minutes. Yeah, like I say, I ain't gonna play. I'm just having a bit of a poke around. I'd love to be able to play this, man. I'm just too busy. I've got another video I'm working on right now, and I really want to finish that. I've got another game I want to look at today as well. Cumberland. So, got the ledger. Look at this stuff, man. Somebody on the Explorminate forum was saying, "Oh, I've been reading some reviews and people are complaining it's like a spreadsheet game." It's like, yep, that's what this game is. It's definitely lots of spreadsheet action. If you want to play a grand strategy game, right, you've got to get into that side of things. Really, it's it's going to be really, really cool. Okay, let's see what we can build. Let's go. One of the things that I really liked about the previous game was the trade system, and I was a little bit disappointed to hear they changed it. But actually, reading through the manual, they didn't change the bit of it that I liked. The bit of it that I liked was the whole idea that each. Let's go into see if I can find where the trade. There we go. Trade details. Right. So, I might be getting this wrong, but I did have a quick skim read. Basically, the way that trade and goods works is each region will be producing a certain good, right? And it will be some of them will be like natural trade goods that are available just because they are there in that particular region. So, for example, here, look, we've got hemp in Sussex, but you'll see here in Hampshire we don't have any natural trade goods. Instead, we've got manufactured trade goods. So we've got flax, and the reason will be because we've got a flax field. Okay, now these trade goods can be traded to other people, and if you're trading them out, you can't use them yourself. That's what's changed from empires, I think. It used to be that if you had the trade good, you could use them for whatever that was used for. So often it would be required as a main resource in order to power one of your buildings. In the build, let's say you had metal, right? It wasn't this simple, but let's say you had arms, or swords, arms. Arms and armor were required in order to build a certain building that would enable you to get more troops out. Okay. And in order for you to have that, you needed to have a supply of metal, and you had to have a building that would create that metal. But if you didn't have metal in your area, you weren't able to create those arms. So you would have to trade it with somebody else who did have it, and that's expensive. So you would end up with your treasury kind of going, being in a deficit, at least in that local region, because you were having to trade for it. So ideally, you wanted to try to increase your trade acumen, which enabled you to trade from a better, for a better price, and you can increase your trade distance. So the further distance you've got, the further away you can trade. So it was really helpful to have allies that you could trade with, because you can't trade with enemies. And not everywhere is going to be able to produce everything that you need. This is one of the nice things about these games. This is why I like Imperium's Greek Wars as well, because it kind of models that scarcity that drove all of the it drove much of the diplomacy and the warfare in the region at the time. So and also you have these manufactured goods can also be used as bonus goods, which can give you. So for example, here we've got missing bonus goods. So if we had fishes, then our fortified village would get more manpower. If we had gold, then our noble's residence would give us more equipment, I think, and some stewardship as well. So you want to be getting these coming in too. Now it used to be that when. Yeah, so if you're missing a bonus good, let's say you're missing fishes, if you build a building that creates fish that generates fish, or you build a building that requires fish as its main trade resource, as it's not a bonus, but it's its main one in order to function, and then you are then having to trade that with somebody else and you're bringing it in, then you'll also get the bonus for that region and the surrounding regions. So it's a really, really cool system. The other thing that was cool about this game was about the other one that I wonder if is in this one, is that when you're building buildings, when you're constructing buildings, it was done on you got a random choice. I don't know if that's still the case. We build stuff. Here we go. So this is like, for example, in Nottingham. As a man from Derby, I can say that with. So yeah, in Nottingham, This is actually in my domain, so like I can actually build here. Yeah, it looks like it's still randomized. This is cool. So, oh, is it? Oh, there's no reroll. Maybe it's not randomized anymore. That's kind of interesting. So you can build a poultry farm here. Look, so if you like chickens, like I do, this is going to give you food and it's going to give you some money, income. And then if you've got flax as a bonus, then you can get an extra food bonus. Okay, that's interesting. So really what you'd want is you'd want to find somewhere then, or you'd want to build a flax field somewhere around this area so that you get that natural bonus. This has got one of the best build, like along. It's one of the reasons why I like Galciv as well. The Galciv series, and particularly Galciv 4, is that there's this really cool game that you play where you plan your buildings out. You're like, okay, I'm going to have this building here, but I'm going to get adjacency bonuses from these other ones. And this game has this, but this is even like more complex and better. And I love this system because it means that it was really nice with the old game because it was randomized. I don't know if it's still randomized. I'd have to check the. Let's have a look at this. Construction. This is where you order a new structure to build. An extra rebuttal means there are no buildings available. Yeah, it doesn't say whether they're random or not. It doesn't really matter. Like in the other game, they were randomized, which was cool because it basically means you never really knew what you were going to get. And usually there was something cool to build. It was rare that you'd need to re-roll it, but you could spend a turn just re-rolling the choices. And that allowed you to really build up these interesting chains of, production chains that enabled you to trade. This is a really good trading game. It's simple the way the trade works. It's not like you have to, manually create your own trade routes. It's all done automatically, but you do it through creating demand and surplus and need. So you create a need for something, you'll trade. If you create a surplus of things, you will trade, and other people will buy from you, and that helps your diplomacy. It's just a great game, man. It's really, really cool. So yeah, this was my, obviously you have to have a big enough empire in order to be able to defend yourself, right? But this is not a game where you need to manage massive amounts of territory unless you really want to. You can play like that if you want to go on a map painting exercise. But the game is made so that it's not that easy to do so, and you need to know the game mechanics very well and play it very carefully. It's not just a matter of I'm going to take that, no I'm going to take that, no I'm going to take that. It just doesn't work. Your empire starts to collapse, and it will fragment, and it will like forcibly split up into smaller places. And then you're like, oh no, I hate that. Why is my game punishing me for winning? Well, the reason why it does that is because actually legacy is your score. And even if you end up with an empire that's kind of broken up because of some civil war, you're still going to have a really high legacy score because you've achieved so much and your legacy is very high. So you can then go on and reclaim your empire and rebuild it, and it tells a story. And this is one of the things that other grand strategy games can do very, very well. It's particularly the Paradox games. It's like, you have this sandbox element to this game. You can go out and achieve your goals. Like, okay, I want to defeat Scotland. That's going to be hard, right? Once you've taken Scotland, then you've got you're sort of like forming what will the future of Great Britain. Maybe you try to go for the whole thing and take Ireland and Wales as well, right? And then once you've got that, you're like, okay, where do I go now? I mean, do I want to become a trade power and just build my legacy up by building loads of cultural buildings? Do I go to war with France, our traditional enemies, or do I make friends with France? And do we, there's so much stuff you can do with these games. Really, really cool. Anyway, folks, I'm not going to ramble on much more. I just wanted to have a quick look at it and just give you my thoughts on what just on my first impressions. There are going to be loads of other content creators who are going to be doing series on this game. My buddy Daz Tactics been playing it, I think. Although I think Daz has been really busy recently, so I don't think he's put out a lot of content. But yeah, go and check out some gameplay videos of people who are actually going to play this. I just thought it might be interesting for my my viewers to have a bit of an overview. And yeah, I'm really, really excited to play this. I'm not going to have time for a while. I've got this endless Shadow Empire series and some Dominions and some other stuff that I really want to get finished first. But this looks like it's going to be a really, really good game. And yeah, if you're interested, go and check it out. Remember, you don't need Field of Glory 2 to play it. You don't need Field of Glory 2 Medieval. It does, like, if you like Field of Glory 2 though, let's just go back to the main menu. If you like Field of Glory 2, it is really good fun to export the occasional battle out. The way that it works is really, really good. But just be aware that you don't need it. Okay, and the internal battles in this are really, 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 really fun anyway. And if you want to see a rough idea of what this game is going to be about, and you want to see me doing it, go and watch the Field of Glory Empires series that I put up. It's not complete, I'm afraid. Yeah, I didn't get. It's one of those that I had to abandon because I just didn't get a chance to finish it. But it's you know, it will give you an overview for what the things like the combat's like, you know, the trade and you know, construction systems, all the good stuff that this game does better than anything else. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.